Hello.
Hello.
Good
I'm
evening.
glad. I'm glad
Hello.
I'm glad you can hear me. Can you see my screen? Because I can't get my camera back.
No.
Yes.
Someone said no, and somebody said yes.
That's
No.
your it's your picture screen. We don't see the screen for your training.
Well, I am definitely having some difficulties here. So I'm just going to try it again. So bear with me. How's everybody doing today?
Hi.
I'm doing good.
My hair's really big today.
Well, at least
Your
there's
hair looks fine.
I don't look huge in the camera.
well, I got my picture up there. So now let me see if I can get the screen up.
All right. Well, while you're doing that, I'm just going to welcome everyone. EC Head Consulting. This is our Notary Nuggets on Wednesday, our free notary training on the notice of right to cancel. I am Tamika. I am the Notary 101 trainer, and Liz Head, who had technical difficulties, but she got it going now. She is the founder, owner, and super trainer. You ready to go?
I bet you can see my screen now.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I decided I'm just gonna put my little training resume up here for most of the Wednesday night trainings that we do. So, because I keep forgetting that you guys are coming from all over, and you may not know who the heck I am. But do I look frazzled today?
No, not at all.
I'm taking a beating today.
Oh.
But anyway, just briefly, I've got over 30 years of mortgage banking experience, and I've got over 30 years of training experience. And I've just outlined my training experience here. And of course, I went through it last week or week before, but I'm not going to go through the entire thing this week, but I am just going to draw your attention to this entry that's down here where it says my notary training consists of. It's a lot of independent research using the National Notary Association, Secretary of State's, and I just have Texas out there, but I've done other states as well. NNA, what do you call it? Conferences. I go to conferences, the NNA conference, and I'm going to the one for next year. Hope a lot of you guys will join us there. And also some Texas training with the Secretary of State with Phyllis Traylor. And I just go to other trainers' events as well. And I also do the YouTube videos. And I've learned how to do this business, how to teach this business from a lot of mistakes. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, but I've definitely had my share of mistakes. And most particularly, I have this mortgage banking experience, but BNN Services taught me how to be a loan signing agent by beating me up a whole lot because I was trying to make them do stuff that it's really the mortgage lender's responsibility. So based on my experience as a mortgage banker, I'm like, no, you can't do that. Well, it wasn't my job. It leads me to this as well. Professor Clausen's Notary Best Practice, great book. Also blogs such as the Notary Cafe, Notary Rotary, Bill Soroka, Phyllis Traylor mentioned before, other notary trainings and seminar. And I wanted to include, I even get tips from Facebook, y'all. I get tips from Facebook. Now, a lot of what I get from Facebook is about what not to do. So just know, we all must keep learning. But tonight, we're going to talk about loan transactions. We're going to talk about right to cancel. But the loan transactions with no right to cancel is a forward mortgage. And that is if you're buying a home with a mortgage, you do not have the right to cancel the loan once the closing documents are signed. A refinance with the same lender although you will often see the notice of right to cancel in these packages. The investment properties. Now, the notice of right to cancel, a lender, you will see the notice of right to cancel. You won't see the notice of right to rescind. I should put it that way. You also don't have the notice, you don't have a right to cancel on investment properties. Investment properties, you do not have the right to cancel. Right to cancel is specific to refinances and refinances on your homestead properties. So the purpose of the notice of right to cancel. Under federal law, but not all, mortgages include a right of rescission, which gives the borrowers 3 business days following the signing of a loan document package. They have that time to review the terms of the transaction and cancel if they wish to. The rescission period starts the first business day following the date of the signing and ends at midnight on the 3rd business day. Sundays and federal holidays do not count towards the rescission period. Now, that was a mouthful, right? And let me tell you, I know from my mortgage days that you have 3 days to cancel. But as a loan signing agent, what I found myself doing was counting those 3 days on my finger based on, because this basically, I should have had it in quotes because it's really a quote from the National Notary Association. So it's a mouthful to say 3 business days from the day you sign, except. So you're counting on your fingers. So you're closing today. So starting at midnight, the first day is going to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay, so my rescission period is going to end midnight Saturday night, right? Okay, well, sometimes then you got to count. Well, if there's a holiday in there, then you count one, that day, this day. I said, I can't do that. That's too much for this old girl to try and do that on my fingers. Yes, I got enough fingers, but the fingers didn't always want to work that way. So anyway, what I started doing was using the closing disclosure. It has the disbursement date at the top, and then you just back it up 1 day because it's 1 day before the disbursement date. Well, guess what? That's not always right. I said, this is too much. So anyway, we're going to look at something else, but now let's just think about it this way too, as we're counting on our fingers. Who's responsible for completing the documents, the notice of right to cancel? What is the lender's and the title company's role? What is the signing agent's role? Would someone like to tell me what the lenders and the title company's responsibility is as far as the, wait a minute, I don't want to do that one first. Somebody tell me, what is the signing agent's role in completing or getting the notice of right to cancel or the notice of right to rescind done? What's your role as a signing agent?
Your role is to inform them that they have those 3 days, and if they want to use the notice, then they are responsible for filling it out and getting it back to title. Is that right?
Kind of, sort of.
Okay.
I want you to hold on to that though, because we're going to talk about it a little bit later, where it falls and what has to go back and when it has to go back. So you're real close. Anybody else want to take a stab at that? No? All right. Well, by the time we're done, we may come back to this and then we'll talk about it. So what I'm going to do now is to attempt to stop sharing and bring up the documents. Is that okay? Y'all gonna be patient?
Sure.
I told you, I'm having some issues today. Okay, where's Word document? There. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Is it loading? I hope it's loading.
No.
Shoot.
Shoot.
Okay, then I'm just going to try it again. It's not up there. What about now? Please tell me you see it.
I don't want to lie to you.
Okay, well, I'm gonna get it.
You are. We have faith in you.
I'm glad somebody got faith in me. That's in the PowerPoint. I had it up here earlier. Well, somebody talk to me. Talk about something else while I'm finding this stupid screen.
We don't want to get you confused.
I'm not I can't bring it up that way. Let's see.
Well, speaking of notice of right to cancel, Miss Liz, how was your Monday, the 21st? It was crazy here.
Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about if I can ever get it up.
Okay.
But go ahead and talk about what you experienced. Why can't I get this to come up?
Well, fortunately, because I was on vacation, I didn't have any loans in the pipeline that was affected. So yay. But there were a lot of changes. A lot of the closers had to resend documents due to the signing of the federal holiday.
That's right. That's
So,
exactly right. Now, speaking of that, because I promise you eventually I'm going to get this stupid screen up. But speaking of that, because that is one of the things we were going to talk about. So, tell me, did anybody else tell me what your experiences were as far as getting those, getting that correct? Well, I'm not going to even ask it that way. I'm going to say, whose responsibility was it to make changes to the notice of right to cancel as a result of Monday becoming a holiday in like that day, basically? Whose responsibility was it to correct those documents?
the lender.
Okay, that's what you say.
Oh,
Oh, no. You can't. Can you see my face while I'm playing around behind the thing looking
Yes,
for my
ma'am.
document?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It was the notary. We did the closer.
Who, what did you say?
We as the notary, we were responsible for changing the date on it.
Okay, so would you just arbitrarily make that change?
No, ma'am, that would have to be cleared with title.
That's
I believe.
right. That's right. Now, Tamika, I've just sent my documents to you because I can't, I for some reason, I tell you, I had a rough day today.
I
So
got you.
yeah, bring that baby on up. But Miss Marshall, I couldn't see y'all, so I think that was you talking, who said it was the lender's responsibility to make those changes. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. We had to make those changes.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. It's either the lender or the title company's responsibility to have made those changes or to tell us to make those changes. We would not, and when I say tell us, we as signing agents would not write on those documents. You would instruct the signers, you would instruct your borrowers to change that date. So now, why is that so? Well, remember, you as a signing agent are not responsible for making changes on anything above your notarial certificate. Any changes that are made to any document above your notarial certificate is responsibility of the borrower if you're sitting in front of them, and or your lender or your title company. It was not our responsibility, which also brings me to a point, and I was going to talk about this after we went through these documents, but since I got lost in the fray and we started talking about it now, a while back, there was an article written by a gentleman at the NNA, and he was talking about errors and omissions. And one of the things that he mentioned that we could be held liable for under our errors and omissions was a notice of right to cancel. Well, I sent him a response which said that I questioned his comments because the notice of right to cancel is not the responsibility of the signing agent, therefore should not affect the errors and omissions for a notary signing agent. The errors and omission policy may or may not, it should not have any bearing on that, because if the errors and omission, if the notice of right to cancel document is not completed correctly, that is a compliance issue for the lender and for the title company, not the signing agent. Now, also along those same lines, a couple years ago, whatever the case may be, a few years ago, based on what I knew as a loan officer, with the notice of right to cancel, there are always 3 copies. Borrower is going to sign all 3 copies. You will return 1 copy with the package. The borrower keeps 2 copies. That's how I learned it from several different mortgage companies, and those were the rules. Well, guess what? When I did that, I had a title company beat me to death because they wanted all 3 copies back. So I was arguing the point that no, the borrower's got to keep 2 signed copies. Well, since they were the title company, I made sure I gave them all of those copies. And at first, I was going through the copy package and having the borrower sign some more copies, because in my head, I had to leave 2 signed copies with them. So it's like, that's too much work. So then I actually went to the Consumer Finance Bureau, Business Bureau, and I read the laws on the notice of right to cancel. It's in your truth in lending laws. So I went there and I read those laws and I read those laws, and nowhere in there did it say the borrower had to have signed copies. It says they've got to have a copy of it. Then I checked with my compliance friend, and pretty much she said the same thing. So I stopped going through that copy package and make sure they sign everything. But I have, sometimes you can have 6 of these things in that package. You have them sign every single one of them. So now it's like, I tell them, you have copies of this document in your copy package. They're not signed, but according to Regulation Z, they do not have to be signed. So it's like they got their copies, the lender got all of their copies back, I'm good to go. So that's how I do it. Now, you'll have to interpret that for yourself. But what I wanted to do was to show you the notice of right to cancel. And of course, Tamika is navigating for me what I've done is to underline on this document, today is, well, the date on this document, let's say this closing is going to be tomorrow. You got your documents early, you got them today. So the date of this transaction is June 24th. Now, before you can see the date that they've got to return it, just do your little counting on your finger to figure out when you should be returning it. And then, Tamika, go ahead and scroll up for me, darling. All right, so now they're going to sign where? Where are they going to sign this document?
Under the we acknowledge receipt. Not the first line, but the next one.
Yes, ma'am. You're absolutely right. Where do people usually want to sign? They want, yep, because they're not really looking at that, but somehow their eyes always fall right there. And they want to sign on that line. And if they sign on that line, of course, they're saying they wish to cancel. Your job as a notary signing agent is to make sure they do not sign on the wrong line. That's it. That date up above, okay, you can point it out to them. And then who can show me now, who can tell me what day they have to have this document back? Tell me if you had a different date, counting on your fingers, than that which is shown in the paragraph above, I wish to cancel. Move it down just, move it down a little bit, Mika. Anybody have a different day than what's on here? I guess not, and that's good. Now, here again, on Monday, this date was wrong. It had June 21st, and the date to cancel was the 24th, I believe. And then it had to be changed to the 25th. Both of those dates had to be changed. And that was not our responsibility to make sure that it got changed. However, what I did, the first one I did not notice because I did not know at that time that Juneteenth was officially official that day. Because just like the post office, okay, it's official that day, but it won't go into effect until next year. Well, for lenders and banks, it went into effect on Monday. So that date needed to be adjusted. So after that first one, I sent the package back, not knowing. And then when I knew that date had to be changed, it was when a lender called me before my 12 o'clock appointment and said, Liz, could you please have them change the date on the notice of right to cancel from this to this? I'm like, oh, shucks. I already sent one off, but we were able to do it. But when he asked me to do that, I said, can you just send that to me in writing? He sent that to me in writing. I made it a part of my loan package. I had another closing later in the day. So then I sent a message to the hiring company and I said, today is officially a federal holiday. Do you have any instructions to change the notice of right to cancel for the loan that's happening at 4 o'clock or whatever? And the response I got from the hiring company was, we did not get notified from title. I'll let you know. Okay. About an hour later, I got a message from the hiring company that instructed me to have the borrowers change that date. Had I not gotten those instructions, I would not have had them change that date. But I did have a record that I asked if it should be changed. That's like covering my butt in case something came up later. but I would not have taken the liberty to change that, because if we change it without being told to change it, but the lender just happened to be working that day, yes, a federal holiday, but they're still working, their bank, they can still process it in the way that they normally do. Perhaps, you know, their bank was open, the back room was working, whatever the case may be. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So you want to make sure that you are covered if ever a document, a date in a document, on a document must be changed. I recommend that you as a signing agent do not take the liberty of making those changes unless you have been authorized to do so. Notice of right to cancel will mess up a deal, like it could stop it cold in its tracks if something has been changed that should not have been changed. Did I just beat that to death? Okay, so when do you do a notice of right to cancel? We talked about that a little bit at the beginning. The notice of right to cancel is on refinance transactions only. Notice of right to cancel is on refinance transactions only. Then move to the next document, please, Tamika. All right, confirmation of non-cancellation. That's a refinance as well. It's on refinancing as well. And you see what's in red.
This stuff in my head while I'm looking at you. I ain't even gonna think that.
It says, do not sign this form at closing. All right, here again, it's telling you for this form, it's June 28th, 2021. So they have got, what have they got to do? This form, they've got to send back to the title company or their loan officer or whatever prior to midnight of the 28th. That's that third day, all right? It tells you do not sign this form at closing. Go to the next document. Okay, customer statement of non-rescission. Here again, we've got the 3 business days, but it doesn't tell you when those 3 business days are going to end. So this would be a time you might be counting on your fingers, except I got something for you, which is the NNA calendar that gives you the dates for the cancellation that I recommend you use. But it wouldn't have helped you on the 21st, but you use that calendar and it gives you month by month your rescission dates. And so if you ever have to tell them, what I do, I keep that calendar with me. And when I have a situation where I have to tell them which day they have to return the document, I pull out that calendar, I point to the date of the closing, and the notice of right to rescind document has got to be back by a date, and that's also on that calendar. I'm gonna try to pull that up too, but y'all have to work with me if I can't get it up. So anyway, so this document cannot go back until after the 3 days have expired. When you tell the people this, they'll always want to say, well, let me just sign it now. Well, no, you can't sign it right now. You can't sign it in front of me anyway. But you want, I don't care when you sign it, but it's got to have this particular day, a date, and you can't send it back, you know, too early. You have to let your 3 days expire. And I said, as long as you send it back by 11:59 on that day, you're okay. Well, what if I send it back the day before? No, you cannot send it back the day before. Now, I know some of you had to go through this with the people when you're telling them not to send that thing back. The other thing is, this is what the guidelines tell you. This is what the document tell you. Well, what if you have a note on top of the notice of non-rescission, which says, tell the borrower to sign this document now, just don't date it. Other times you will have a note that says, have them go ahead and sign, but the title company has already written in the date of that they, like the 28th, they will have written in 6/28/2021. Date is already there. Then they tell you to have the borrower sign it. Well, guess what? That ain't the way it happens. That's not the way it should happen. But if that's what they're telling you to do, it is not a signing agent's job. Whose job is it? It's a compliance issue. It is not a notary issue. Is there anyone who would disagree with that? Miss Marshall, go ahead. All that experience you got, you're a closer over there too. What you got to say?
That's a compliance issue. And I'm speaking from a signing agent position.
Okay. Now, can I pick on you a little bit, Miss Marshall?
You can. I'm trying to stay in my lane.
Miss Marshall, like me, has 20, 30 years of mortgage banking experience. And what she and I have been working on, I've shared my experience with her, how I would get myself in trouble when I first started because I was trying to be the loan officer instead of a signing agent. So Miss Marshall, some of the things that she was saying to me or asking me or she said she's going to do, she was acting like a closer, a processor. She was doing it all. So we have to stay in our lanes as signing agents when we are doing this kind of work. That's the best way to keep ourselves out of trouble so we don't have to use that errors and omissions insurance that guy was talking about. You know, you could get in trouble if you mess up the notice of right to cancel. You're not going to mess up the notice of right to cancel because you're not going to do anything with this notice of right to cancel except make sure these people are signing in the right place. And if there is a cover page, note telling you to have them sign, just don't date, you're going to do that. But other than that, you're not going to get yourself in trouble with that. And also, I want to now, Tamika, I tell you, I'm scared to do this, but stop sharing it. I'm gonna see if I can bring up the because it's down here open. So I'm gonna see if I can bring up that calendar. And I don't see it up here, which means it's not going to come up. It didn't come up, did it?
No, ma'am.
Son of a-
No, ma'am.
Okay, I minimized it again, but it still didn't come up on this share my screen thing. Let me see if I can get to it a different way.
You're screen sharing.
I know, I had to go there. I had to go there too, but you know what? It's not going to be in there. It's going to be in, I'm going to shoot. See my screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Because I'm going to Facebook and I'm going to, if somebody don't mute that mic, I'm telling y'all, I've been beat up today. So give the old lady a break. All right. So I'm still screen sharing, aren't I?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Right here is the rescission calendar. This is the National Notary Association's rescission calendar. Come on now, baby, open up. Don't be slow now. It's trying to open, y'all. It's just slow. It went away.
There it
Okay.
goes.
Yes, 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 yes.
Oh my.
Okay. So this is in the file section of the Facebook group, and I put it out there every year at the beginning of the year. So this is the rescission calendar that the NNA puts out. So we're going to go to June because we're in June, and we were talking about the 21st and that being Juneteenth becoming a federal holiday. Well, you see right here, it tells you if you're closing on the 21st, your rescission period ends on the 24th. Well, because of the holiday, because Sunday and holidays are not counted as business days. So that date had to be advanced one day. Well, that was throwing a lot of people into a tizzy because, of course, the notice of right to cancel notice of rescission date was wrong on all of the documents that had been issued for closings on the 21st. I guarantee you, half of those did not get changed because the lenders, somebody wasn't watching, didn't know. And if you weren't watching the news, you wouldn't have known anything about Juneteenth being a federal holiday on that day. So that's something that will have to be worked out. Now, the suggestion I made to the lender, to the title company for the one that I had done before I was informed that it was a federal holiday, I offered them, you could do one or two things. You can send them that document. It's not a document that must be notarized. You can send them a new form, have them re-execute it and scan it back to you. Or if I need to, I will go back and have them sign, another copy and then scan it over to you. They didn't respond. So it's like, okay, I guess it worked out. But that's.
Where is this calendar besides in your file section?
I got it.
I can't hear you.
Huh?
NNA website, correct?
Hi,
Yes.
how are you?
Okay, Miss Katrina.
Good.
Got her. Someone had asked where to access the calendar.
Yeah, National Notary Association. I got this from the National, see right up here, National Notary Association. And it's for the entire year. So I just print the whole thing and just keep it with me in my notary bag. And that's what I use to make sure. And here again, I point to it. It's just like for the 21st, or let's say the 22nd, because that's the only day that was affected. Or let's say the 24th, which is the document that I was showing you. The 24th, the rescission period ends on the 28th. So I'm not telling them that, I'm pointing to it. I say, this is the day you're closing on. This is the end of the period. So you have to have that document back to them before 11:59 on the 28th. Now, what I'm also going to tell you, as far as the notice of right to, I'm going to stop sharing that. We got it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the other thing I'm going to share with you is the notice of right to cancel, the notice of right to rescind. Sometimes you're going to find both those documents in the same file. If a person is refinancing with the same lender, it's only a notice of right to cancel. If they are refinancing with a different lender, there should be a notice of right to cancel and a notice of right to rescind. And that's if they are refinancing with a new lender. Those are just the guidelines under RESPA. So you may not always find the notice of right to rescind, but you should always have the notice of right to cancel if it is a homestead refinance. Okay, any questions on that? No? I'm gonna do my best to go back to my PowerPoint, but I think I was pretty much done with it.
Well, I'm sorry, can you repeat that? Just you said it, the notice of right to cancel and the, what was that?
Notice of right to
Right to
cancel. Oh, I was done. The notice of right to cancel and the notice of right to rescind.
Okay, rescind, that's gonna be in all refinance documents with a different lender or new lender when you refinance.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll just make sure I had it right.
Yes, ma'am. You recapped it perfectly. You'll always have a notice of right to cancel if it is a homestead refinance. If it is a refinance with a different lender, you should have a notice of right to cancel and a notice of right to rescind. Should have, according to the RESPA laws. Now, are you going to freak out as a signing agent if that notice of right to rescind is not there? No, you're not. If it's not there, you may or may not know whether or not they're refinancing with the same lender or a different lender. That's not something that you necessarily would know. Why didn't somebody tell me I hit that black screen up there? So, remember I told you guys and I showed you that, you know, I train and I've got all this training experience, and I told you, you know, in that little thing of the stuff I've trained on. One thing I have not trained on, I do not have the expertise to train on. As you have seen here tonight, my computer skills ain't that great. My technical skills are not that great. I got the hell beat out of me the last few days because a person wanted me to make a part of my training to teach them how to print, how to upload documents, how to some other stuff she wanted to do with her printer and this and that and the other. I don't do that. Well, she told me I should. Well, y'all, I do not do technical training. I don't have the expertise, nor do I want the expertise. When my stuff breaks, I call my grandson. When my stuff breaks and we're on a Zoom, I send it to Tamika and tell her, baby, share my screen because I can't get it up there. That's not something I do. So I just wanted to make sure I shared that with you guys, that there are some things. Oh, and then it's like, well, you ought to be teaching us how to do remote online. I wouldn't touch remote online notarization with a 10-foot pole. I'm not going to do online notarizations. I'm too old. But any of you who's going to be in this for the long haul, I highly recommend that you do become familiar with the RON, with the electronic notarization, because that is the way of the future. And that's going to be long, that's the long term. And it's just, there will be enough work for me after it becomes more and more online notarization for mortgages, which is so, it's a little ways out. There's still things that have to be worked out before they can do it full-fledged. But there are enough cash outs in Texas. Those aren't going to go to online notarizations because they got to be done at a title company. Well, I guess you could be sitting in the title company and do it online, but that's not there yet. And it won't be for like another 5 years. 5 years, I will be totally retired. And the other thing that's not going to go online are reverse mortgages. Reverse mortgages are for people like me. we want to sit down and see somebody when we're doing our paperwork. Old people want to see somebody. And a lot of what happens with our reverse mortgage people, yes, they want to see you. They're lonely. They want to talk. Not me. I don't want to talk. But most of the people who are doing the reverse mortgages, they probably live alone. And when you come over, you got to be ready to do 2.5 hours. And the paperwork is cumbersome, but the main thing is they want to talk. Is that right, Tamika?
Never again.
Tamika is scarred from having done one reverse mortgage. How long did it take you?
About 3.5 hours.
Yeah, she was
And
crying.
then I had to go back.
Yeah. And a funny story, y'all, a funny story. I'm waiting for my lender to call me because I am going to do a reverse mortgage. And well, I already have one, but I'm going to do a cash out reverse mortgage. So I told Tamika today, well, when I do my reverse mortgage, you can come be my notary. She said,
No, thank you.
I said, but Mika, I already know how to do it. So it's not like it's going to cause you any heartburn. I won't
right. Yeah, I get there and she'll pull like, I'm an old lady. I'm an old lady.
I said, I can put Jordan down as my next of kin, my nearest relative not living with me. So then there's no problem with the arm's length transaction. That girl told me she will not do it.
And you are more than 10 miles from my house, ma'am. No, thank you. All money ain't good money. Y'all better learn.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna hire somebody in this class to come do my reverse mortgage.
Oh, Shanelia, she's by you.
All righty.
Turn that camera on.
Turn my camera. My hair ain't combed. No, I don't think you want to see this. This ain't nothing pretty right now. I'll have my camera on for you Saturday. I'll have my camera on for you Saturday.
Okay. Well, Chanel, you want to do? No, she doesn't have enough experience. I wouldn't do that to her.
Oh yeah, she'd be crying.
No. She would not be crying.
Yes, she would.
No, she wouldn't, because I would be walking her through it, but that wouldn't be fair to her. So, yeah, but
I'll still try it. Hey, I'm trying to get the experience.
And then you'll be scarred, and you'll be like me, never again.
Hey, you got to start somewhere.
Chanel, you're right. You're absolutely right. You will do my reverse mortgage, because you're doing the reverse mortgage class this Saturday.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am. You can do my reverse mortgage. It's going to be 30, 45 days out. So you will have done some other closings by then. But absolutely, I just wrote that down, that you're going to. And that's the other thing people don't know. They don't know that you have the right to choose your notary. They don't know that you have the right to choose your title company. I am choosing my own title company. I am choosing my own notary. So, girl, you in there. Mm-hmm. How much you going to charge me?
Huh? I'll do it for free. I'll
no,
do it
ma'am. Ma'am, once you see all them papers, you got to print.
Yeah, because I am going to have you will have to print them. You will have to print them. But
I got paper.
But I won't have you print them twice, though. I won't have you print them twice. But just know, whenever you do one for real. Angela said, Mika, you watching the chat?
It just came up. You can answer.
Oh, okay. Oh, no, ma'am, that's not a free class. That one's not the reverse mortgages, cash outs, and HELOCs. That's not a free class. But come on, we want you. We want you. But no, I won't make you print it twice. You'll just print it once. But you can definitely do it. And I'm gonna let you do it. I got to get out of that chat. You're managing that, aren't you, Tamika?
Well, if you're a superwoman, and I have to.
I'm not. I got beat up today.
Oh, because you're an old lady. I know. Let me go to the website so I don't give the wrong information.
While she's looking up that information, you guys have any other questions? And you, of course, you can turn your mics on. You don't have to put it in the chat. We can just talk. As long as we don't have a whole lot of background noise, because that's distracting. But turn your mic on and talk to me. You can, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Any notary question. Doesn't have to be about the notice of right to cancel. And let me just apologize that I was frazzled tonight. Frazzled.
Wowzer. The class is 190. And it's only 3 hours. Woo, woo.
All right.
It's 8 to 11.
Well, actually, I do have a question on the class on Saturday. Throughout your previous classes, you would send us emails for documents that we would need to print out. Will these documents, this class, will it require to be printed on the longer sheets?
Some of them, and what I tell you, I was laughing at what was in the chat. It tells you to print on the correct size paper. So, and if you don't have 8.5 by 11 and 8.5 by 14, you print on all legal. Because keep in mind, what I try to do is to give you that experience that you're getting the documents just like you're getting them from a hiring company. So the hiring companies are going to give you the documents. Some of them are on 8.5 by 11, some of them are on 8.5 by 14. And that's why it's important that you have your dual tray. And if you don't have a dual tray, and you have to print all legal, you want to make sure you get the authorization from the hiring company that it's okay to print everything on legal, because it will sometimes affect recording. Some counties cannot record if it's not on a specific size paper.
Okay, that's why I wanted to make sure, because I have my printer now. I didn't have it in the last class, so I want to try to make sure I can print on the both print sizes.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And the other, and that's a good practice for you if you've just gotten your new printer, printing the documents for these classes. That's a good way to test, to make sure your printer is set up to accommodate both. You know, it's on auto select. So that it will accommodate both 8.5 by 11 and 8.5 by 14. It's a good training for that as well.
Question in the chat: what's the difference between right to cancel and rescinding?
Right to cancel is required for all homestead refinances. Notice of right to rescind and the notice of right to cancel together are required if it is with a different lender. It's just for me, it's basically terminology, rescind or cancel. And I had the hardest time trying to figure out, well, what's the difference? There's little difference, except it's like you can rescind. If you cancel, it's canceled. If you rescind, look, I'm just rescinding today. I may come back and finish it up, but right now I need to suspend it. So in my mind, the way I keep it straight is when it's rescind, it's suspend. If it's cancel, it's dead. Gina, you shaking your head a whole bunch. Come on, tell us what you thinking.
Got it. I mean, I had the same question but hadn't asked it, and I'm like, and so the way you said, I was like, rescind, and I like the way that analogy that you use. Okay. I just wasn't paying attention because I was shaking my head too much.
Okay. But yeah, and typically you're going to find the notice of right to rescind in the package along with the notice of right to cancel if the loan is being refinanced with a new lender. Let's say they're going from Wells Fargo to Chase. If they're just doing, if Wells Fargo is doing the refinance, then it's just a notice of right to cancel. Their current loan is with Wells Fargo. They're staying with Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo gave them a good rate. Let's say they're with Wells Fargo now. Wells Fargo said, my rate's 4%, and they're not budging. You hop over to Chase. Chase is going to give you a 3%. So you're going to go to Chase. Now, when Chase does your document, they're going to give you a notice of right to cancel and a notice of right to rescind. That makes sense? And with that, let me tell you a story. Why you don't want to start necessarily looking at these people documents. I was at a closing last week, and the nicest people. Oh, they were so nice. We had a great time. Yeah, that's probably not something you should say about going to a signing, but some of them are really good. And she was sharing with me how they had been with Chase for a very long time. All their business was with Chase, but Chase wouldn't give them the 2.75 interest rate that they wanted. So they went to Wells Fargo, since I'm picking on those two. And Wells Fargo gave them the rate that they wanted. Well, y'all know, in a lot of these files, there's a discount point acknowledgement. When I handed them the discount point acknowledgement, I was trying to make sure they turned that page real fast. Because what they hadn't seen was that, yes, Wells Fargo gave them the rate they asked for, but they paid almost $4,000 for it. I said, whew, I was sweating. But see, back in the day, when I was, as a loan signing agent, I was trying to be a loan officer or a loan advisor. I would have been pointing out, look at this. This is not, that's why you got that rate. You got that rate because they charged you this. You don't say anything. You do not say anything. It is not our job. It is, and I like them a lot, but thank God I don't even remember their names. That's the other thing. This stuff is confidential. And I learned a long time ago, like when I worked for a mortgage company and I was one of the officers, so we're in these meetings and we hear information before we can share that information. Well, I had a friend, well, she's still my friend, who was a manager. She was not an officer, so she's not in those meetings, but she didn't report to me. But then when the news comes out that such and such and such is going to happen, and we're at lunch, and she's like, well, Liz, why didn't you tell me? I couldn't. It wasn't time. It wasn't my story to tell at that time. So I forget what I'm not supposed to know. So it's like the paperwork that I'm looking at, the people's personal information, guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, I have forgotten it before I walk out the door. I urge you to do the same thing.
Yep.
Because you don't want to accidentally slip and say somebody's personal stuff. I couldn't tell you. And sometimes I go back to the same place and I'm looking at the house, I'm thinking, oh, they look familiar. I go in and then they say, well, yeah, you were here last year. And then I want to say, well, why are you refinancing again? Do you realize you're paying $10,000, $12,000 and you saved a half a point? Guess what I say? How you doing? It's so good to see you again. It ain't our business. It ain't our business. Anyway, did I answer that question about notice of right to cancel and notice of right to rescind? Because I went into a rabbit hole after that.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good enough. Anything else? You better ask a question or I'm going to tell you another story.
No, you're not. This is going on 8 o'clock.
All right.
Any other questions?
You going to tell us what's coming up in July, and you want to tell us when our next classes are?
Yeah, the July schedule is being worked on, so I can't really share that right now. Next class obviously is the workshop 2. That's Saturday, June 26th. It's 8 to 11. 190. Then we start all over again. Our first class is July 7th. Because of the 4th of July holiday. How can you become a signing agent? April wants to know. You gonna answer that?
Oh, for me? How do you become a signing agent? You have to be, you want to be certified through the NNA. You get your certification, you get your errors and omissions insurance, you get, I'm presuming you're already a notary. So you would get your certification, your errors and omissions insurance, and then you would get some training, hopefully from us. What I encourage everybody to do, you're on this tonight, so of course, hopefully you've been on our YouTube channel and you've seen some of our videos, and I want to encourage everyone, before you start signing up for anybody's training, you need to take a look at that training style. And pretty much what you see in our videos is pretty much how we train. It is interactive. Cameras must be on. We're still on Zoom because of the pandemic. We will go back to in-person learning in January of 2022. At least one of the classes will go back to in person, but get to know some information about your trainers to find out if the training style is conducive to your way of learning. I would love to have everybody come to my training classes. I try to make sure that you know what the expectations are. I don't do any technical training.
We got it.
I don't do none of that. But I think that we give you a lot. I think you get great value for your money. And we have several students on here, and somebody might want to just give me a plug or two to just say that, yeah, she got it covered. Anybody? Hello.
Well, I just took the one-on-one, last week, 2 weeks ago. It was very beneficial. I am going to do another training. I think it's going to be next month when I'm going to do it, because I'm counting my coins. I just shelled out a whole lot of money to NNA for my E&O insurance. Thanks to Mika, because she was very patient with me. I sent her a couple of emails to make sure the quotes that they were giving me were what I needed and I wasn't overpaying. So I just did all of that. I'm actually, when I get off this call, I'm going to submit my background check and I'm going to log in and do some training. So you're legit, and you're very patient. And that was the reason why I signed up, because I was all over the place, getting on Instagram, Facebook groups, trying to do some trainings with other people, and they were going super fast, clicking real quickly. And I need people that are kind of patient with me, because I am not one of those fast learners. And you guys were super, super patient and very detailed. And that's what works for me. So my next thing is, somebody put in the chat, what was the YouTube channel? So I do need that information so that I can log in. And
I just put it in. I put the link in there.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
thank you.
It's in there.
But you guys are great for me.
Thank you, Leslie. And let me just piggyback on something that Leslie said. That's the other thing. Make sure you are scheduling the money that you're spending. Don't jump out there and spend. What am I trying to say? Budget it out so you're not spending all your money. Do it a little bit at a time. Like Leslie said, she did Notary 101 this month, but then Notary 101, see, she can start making some money with General Notary. So if nothing else, you do Notary 101, you start doing some general notary work, and you let your general notary work pay for your workshop 1 for when you want to start doing loan documents. When you want to be a signing agent, let the general notary, because we show you how to make money with the Notary 101, with the general notary. So you make some money with the general notary work to buy your printer, to to stock up on your paper, and you do some more general notary work and pay for the loan signing classes. That's just a suggestion. I mean, I want all your money, but I want you, and don't go in debt trying to do this. If you go into debt trying to, because this is a very low startup cost business, but it can add up. So, just kind of balance, put a balance to your learning and your earning and your spending. It almost rhymed.
Lord have mercy.
Hey, Liz.
I'm not in
Tamika.
tech. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, hi, Liz and Tamika. This is Regina.
Hey, Regina.
Hey, Regina.
Hey, I just wanted to also indicate that I am a student from Liz's class. I actually took her loan signing course back in April of 2019. And actually, Liz came highly recommended to me from Phyllis Traylor, who is the owner of my San Antonio mobile notary. Liz is also my mentor, and much success. I must give her credit for where I am today, my relationships I've established with the people who were in the class. And I've taken all of her classes, and sometimes I can sit back in when I can, but she's definitely professional. She knows her information, and she and Tamika have built a very good foundation with their courses. So I would highly recommend them. I haven't been able to tell my stories in a while, but I have a lot. So definitely, if anybody wants additional information, you can definitely reach out to me, and I can give you more information on, how she is a great mentor to me as well.
Thank you, Regina. I'm sending you a quarter tomorrow.
Just a quarter? That was an amazing review.
Okay, I'll send you $5.
We have a question in the chat. Wait a
minute, what'd you say, Regina?
I want my money.
Okay.
Question in the chat. I'm not in Texas, so would you still offer virtual training to those not in Texas?
Absolutely. What state are you in?
Yeah.
We don't know what state we're in?
No, not yet.
Calm down my background.
Uh-oh. What'd you say, Carla?
Yes. Here's the thing with Notary 101.
Wait, she about to tell it. Oh, she went back on mute.
She's in North Carolina and in Illinois. Tamika's in North Carolina and it went away. Ooh, Louisiana. We got a whole bunch of them. Louisiana, not so much. But for all of the other states. Oh, she said she need to come to Texas. Yeah, it's going too fast for me to read all.
I got you. The person that asked the question was from Louisiana, but now they're just, they
everywhere.
They repping their state.
Let me tell you, I love it. Let me tell you, I trained basically Texas and Illinois. Before the pandemic, I traveled to Illinois to do the classes. So obviously, I've got more information on Texas and Illinois. However, when I have someone, and this is for Notary 101, when I have someone from a different state and I know in advance, then, and the great thing about live classes like this, I have the opportunity, if I know soon enough, that I can make adjustments to cover some of the stuff in those particular states. Keeping in mind, the best thing for any of us is to make sure, where's my little thing, is to make sure that we have our primers. Oh, here it is right here. You have your notary primer or your handbook for your state. I cover some of the most important things in the notary laws, and a lot of them are pretty much the same, but there are some distinct differences with just about every state. So if I know in time, I throw y'all a little stuff in there too. I throw a little stuff on your state in there as well. And then of course I keep the fees. Now I have the fees for all states. And we talk about how that works too, how you make money on top of those fees in Notary 101. And then as far as workshop 1 is concerned, the documents are pretty much universal. Even though at the top of the document, it may say Texas, but if it's your state, it's going to say Illinois, Louisiana, North Carolina, you know, like your homeowner's insurance, it's your hazard insurance disclosure. Well, in Texas, it says Texas hazard insurance. If it's in Illinois, it's going to say Illinois. But the body of that document is pretty much the same for everybody. It's universal. Those are universal documents. Then you have some states like Louisiana is a different animal all by itself, just like California. I don't touch them. I don't touch those because now for California, a lot of stuff that you get from the NNA and from a lot of the other trainers like Notary 2 Pro and from, who is that, Mark Wills? They're California based, I do believe. I know, like the NNA, this book, the Loan Document Source Book, this is full of California stuff because they're based in California. So it's a good source for California. Louisiana, whew, that's a tough one. Louisiana is tough. I'd have to really do some research, and they don't, you know, Louisiana, you're gonna work, you got to take all of the exams, and I think they make you go through about 6 months of training before you can be a notary. And then as far as being, I had to purchase U.S. primer from, did not have a state specific for Alabama. Okay, NNA didn't have a, that's okay. Because they did not have a state specific for Alabama, that's okay. Because you just go to the Alabama Secretary of State and they're going to have a handbook. The primer just compacts it for you. And it's just like your handbook for Alabama. Did I not send that to you? Anyway, it's you can get that handbook from the state of Alabama. North Carolina, same thing. If you don't have a primer on NNA, go to your Secretary of State's website. And then that's going to give you your laws. And what we teach are the standard laws. We teach the certificates. And most of the certificates are going to be pretty standard, with the exception of, who do you think? California, Louisiana. So just know that. Did I answer the question?
I don't think that you did. So are you willing to have an individual from Louisiana take note? Are you willing to do the homework if you have enough notice for them to take the Notary 101 class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Who asked that question?
I think it was Tamika. No, Carla. Somebody.
Carla. Yes, I would absolutely do the homework for Louisiana.
Awesome.
If I have enough notice.
Right.
And what constitutes I have enough notice? It doesn't mean that you're going to say, oh yes, I'm coming to class. I gotta see a payment. Just to say I'm coming, and you make me go do all that research, and then you don't come to class, or you don't pay for class, I'll come looking for you.
She won't be an old lady then. You playing with her money?
That's what that woman said, who beat me up about not teaching her how to upload a document. She said, I paid her a lot of money. Baby, I should have charged you $600.
Mother. Okay.
Sorry. I was about to go there.
You were.
Okay, anything else? We have another class similar to Saturday. The reverse mortgage, cash outs, HELOCs are done once a quarter. There just isn't enough, there's not enough people who sign up for that class for me to keep it on the monthly schedule, because when I put it anyway, so it's done quarterly. So this is June, so the next one would be, what's that, September?
Right.
Anything else? We 15 minutes over, and I'm surprised Tamika ain't yelling at me.
Okay, so another question, do you cover Florida? The answer is we'll cover any state. If you give us enough notice, we will put your state in our presentation, because we want you to leave the class fully informed on how to perform properly. So if you give us enough time, and I'm thinking, what, 2 weeks?
Oh, no, I just need a week.
A week? Okay. Okay.
No. I just need a week, because, I'm not signing that much anymore, so.
Okay, so yes, if you give us at least a week, please, or 2 weeks, notice we can have your state in the presentation, so you are fully informed when you leave the class.
So you're represented, but again, can't teach you everything. You have got to get you've got to get familiar with your notary laws in your state. I give you some of the information, but you would have to get your handbook in order to be fully informed. And you will want to print that and keep it handy, because as you see, I'm looking all over for my primer and it's right here on my desk. It's because you keep them handy, because you will refer to this all the time. Just like the material that I give you in class, you create a reference guide. I recommend when you start with Notary 101, and you have that in a binder, the same binder. Then when you get workshop 1, that information goes in a binder, so you can refer back to it. You look at it, becomes your reference guide. Same thing with your primer, same thing with Sign and Thrive, the same thing with Professor Clausen. This is some good stuff, y'all.
Fran, you working me today, Fran.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Let me get the link for you.
So I need to go to the Secretary of State and ask for what book for my state of Tennessee?
For Tennessee, you're looking for the Tennessee Secretary of State, the Notary Handbook.
Okay.
You're looking for the notary laws. You're looking for the notary laws.
Okay. Thank you.
Leslie, I forgot.
I'm in Nashville. You sent me the lady's name. I was waiting till I got my commission and all of that, and I just got that this week before I reached out. I wanted to make sure I had a little bit of the information and stuff.
Give her another week or two. She just had surgery.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. I can do that.
Mm-hmm. Miss Fran, are you interested in a Wednesday or a Saturday class? Because like I said, in July, we're starting with the Wednesday class because of the holiday. I don't want to send you the wrong link. Okay, Wednesday it is.
No, she said no one likes to cover Louisiana.
All right, the link is in the chat. Is there anything else?
So what are you guys gonna go do now?
What? Like when we get off this Zoom? Oh my gosh, Lord have mercy.
I'm gonna have me a vodka and tonic, just a little bit of tonic, just a little bit of tonic, whole lot of vodka.
So that, I thought you didn't drink.
What? Leslie, where did you get that from? You know what she was trying to be good and sanctified on that Zoom, right?
You were right. She sure did. And you, Tamika, was like, well, I do. And she said, no, I don't. I drink coffee. So that's why I'm referring back to that conversation, because I actually was the one that said vodka tonic is my drink. So when she just said that, my head just perked right up. Because I got off another Zoom call for my VA call, and I came straight home before I got on that call. As soon as I walked in the door, I put in my blender some tequila and made me a margarita, because they just gave me the daggone blues at work today.
Let me tell you, I don't need a blender. All I need is a little bit of ice in that glass. I ain't fooling around with no shot glass. Make sure I just get a shot.
Tamika, what is really going on here?
I mean, a double. But actually, I'm just gonna pour until I think the glass
until the ancestors tell you it's enough.
I know that's right. But that is my drink, vodka tonic. But today I had a margarita. But I am so shocked because yes, Tamika, she was like, "No, I don't drink. I don't drink."
Yeah, she was having one of her sanctified moments. I mean, she doesn't drink like my blender. My blender stays on the counter. Okay, my blender stays on the counter. Now, she's not like that. You know, I drink for her. But when she drinks real. Yeah.
And she's had a day.
Right.
I have a drink.
I just, drink because it is a day.
I have me a big drink.
Liz, you should have called me. We would have went to Primo's.
Oh, girl. I don't drink too much when I'm out. I might would have had just one little margarita if I was at El Primo's. But no, ma'am. The drink I'm about to have, I gotta have it at home. Yes, indeed. Look, couldn't get I was so frazzled. Well, I have problems every once in a while sharing my screens anyway, but I hadn't had a problem with that in a long time. But tonight, I said it ain't gonna worry me. Me can take this thing.
Me can take the wheel.
Me could take the screen.
All right, so now you know that we're going to continue. Me and Miss Marshall are going to continue to work because we have work to do, and you go enjoy your drink.
Oh Lord, yes.
And I'm gonna submit my background to the
Yes, Miss Fran. Come on with your last question before I turn this meeting off.
I'm getting ready to turn on. It's all right. It's okay. But
just drink.
Yes, I'm drinking.
Wow.
With the
Gospel and drinking. Okay.
With a drink.
I gotta go clean my Airbnb.
Oh.
I need
to talk to you about
that. I'm in between cleaners. Sure, reach out. Yeah, sure.
Cool.
And Tia, isn't that something though? Think about what you just said. When you are a business owner.
Yes, ma'am.
You are self-employed. She just said she's in between cleaners.
Somebody got to do it.
She got to do it. When you are a small business, oftentimes you have got to do it. Which brings me to something. There was something on Facebook last week about Juneteenth.
Tia says she has an Airbnb, Miss Smith.
Yeah.
Tia.
She has Airbnb.
Thank you.
Tia. But somebody was saying that they weren't working on Juneteenth because it was a holiday. Well, first of all, you just found out it's a holiday. So that
don't be ugly.
That means if you had some closing scheduled for Juneteenth,
right?
You gave them back because it was Juneteenth. But what I said, and I almost got beat up in this Facebook post, but I just backed off because the way I look at it, I work on Martin Luther King's Day. I work anytime other than Christmas and Easter. I don't work on those days. But it's just because they're set aside. That's Jesus's birthday. So I'm gonna give him that. Okay.
Right.
I work on my birthday.
Yeah.
I've always looked at it, and I'm from the 60s, 70s era. So the Martin Luther King era. Proud that he has a holiday. But I always worked on his birthday because he basically died so that I could have the right to a job, to a good professional job. So I honor him by going to work. Juneteenth. Hey, I didn't understand when I moved here why people in Texas would be celebrating Juneteenth. If you knew it took you 2 years before you knew you were free.
Right.
You celebrating?
Right.
I didn't get it. I did not get it, but I get it now. You know, we have to be educated. We have to look at things from a different prism. You know, when we can frame something differently, then we have a better appreciation for it. But that still gives me an incentive to go to work. So when we are business owners, we are self-employed, we sometimes may have to go to work when we don't necessarily want to go to work.
Yes, ma'am.
So that I just wanted to share that.
Thank you.
That is true.
I'm sorry. I just went in about 10 rabbit holes tonight, y'all. Tamika, did you stop this thing from recording?
No, I
No,
didn't.
it's still recording.
Oh my God.
You're gonna have to edit that out.
No, that's what makes it real. And people that watch it, they'll know what to expect when they come to our class. Any and everything, but you're still gonna learn.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what makes us different. That's what stands out. So I'm not gonna edit it.
I love it.
Miss Fran, where do I indicate I'm from Florida before taking the course? You can email us after you've paid for the course. Just email us. The email will be on the ticket, and just let us know that you're from Florida, and we can prepare for you.
Oh, really, raw. Darn it. That makes me sound awful.
No, it doesn't. But guess what? We're gonna end this party.
Thank you, girl, because I gotta go get my drink. I didn't forget.
Lord.
Y'all thought I was gonna forget about my drink.
No, we didn't.
No.
Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I'll see y'all.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, I guess I gotta leave.
Oh, Lord. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe.